Don't buy a rental in Florida unless you do this. Everybody and their cousin thinks that buying a rental in Florida is the fast track to riches. Passive income, retire early, sip pina coladas on the beach while the rent checks roll in. Sounds nice, right? But let me hit you with some truth. For most people right now, buying a rental is a really bad idea. Yeah, I said it. And today I'm going to show you exactly why most investors lose money here and what the math actually looks like. And if you're still dead set on it, the only 4 situations where it can even make sense. I'm Tom McNamara, Florida Real Estate Insider. I've been in the business long enough to see the good, the bad, and the ugly of rental investing. And trust me, there's a lot of ugly. I've had clients come to me saying, Tom, I want to buy a rental so it pays for itself. And I've had to be the bad guy, the one that shows them the numbers and tells them the dream doesn't match reality. But I'd rather be honest and upfront with you than watch you bleed cash month after month. So let's break this down. Why don't rentals work right now? Here's a simple way to check if your rental is worth it. The rent to price ratio. You want at least 1% per month. That means if the home costs $400,000, you should be able to rent it for $4,000 a month. Now, what's the reality in Florida? About 0.65%. So on that $400,000 house, you're looking at maybe $2,600 a month in rent. It's a big difference. And that's before you even touch insurance, taxes, and maintenance. Insurance will eat you alive. This one is brutal. Florida has some of the highest homeowner insurance costs in the country. We're talking $5,000 to $7,000 a year in many places. Add flood insurance if you're coastal, and suddenly half your rental income for the year is gone before you even think about repairs. Here's something most out-of-state investors have no clue about. In Florida, primary homeowners get 2 big perks: the Homestead exemption and the Save Our Homes cap. That combo can knock thousands off the tax bill. And more importantly, it keeps the county from hiking your assessed value more than 3% a year, even if the market goes crazy. Sounds great, right? But the second you buy that property as a rental, all of that goes out the window. No exemption, no 3% cap. Instead, the county tax office reassesses the property based on what you just paid. So let's say that current owner bought the place 10 years ago for $200,000. And thanks to Save Our Homes, their assessed value has only crept up slowly. Maybe they're paying taxes on $240,000. You come in and pay $400,000 for the same house, and guess what? Your new tax bill comes in based on $400,000, not $240,000. Overnight, you're looking at double the taxes that they were paying. I've had investors stare at those Zillow estimates thinking they're getting a deal and then fall off their chair when the real bill comes in. The seller was getting a massive savings, and you're the one that loses it. That extra $3,000 to $5,000 a year can be the difference between positive cash flow and what the heck was I thinking. There's some hidden costs and tenant realities. Everyone loves the phrase passive income. You know what's not passive? Getting a call at midnight because the AC quit in July, or replacing a roof for $20,000, or hiring a property manager at 10% of your gross rents just so you don't have to deal with it. I've had clients proudly tell me, we're breaking even. And when I asked if they're factoring in repairs, vacancy, cleaning between tenants, or furnishing costs for short-term rentals, silence. Breaking even is just a slow way of losing money. So when do rentals actually work? Okay, so you've heard me rant. You get the picture. Rentals in Florida usually don't make sense right now. But if you're stubborn, and hey, I respect stubborn when it's strategic, here are the only situations where I would consider buying a rental. Seller financing. Banks are charging sky-high interest rates right now. That alone kills most deals. But sometimes a seller is willing to finance the purchase themselves. That means you can negotiate better terms, maybe a lower rate, smaller down payment, or flexible repayment. I've seen a few deals where the seller was more motivated to get steady income than a lump sum. Those buyers walked away with payments far below what a bank would have charged. These are definitely harder to find, but the win-win is worth the extra effort. A hidden gem. Every once in a while, you find a property priced below market. Maybe it was marketed poorly. Maybe it needs a little love, but isn't a disaster. Those diamonds in the rough are rare, but if you know how to spot them and move fast, they can give you the extra cushion the numbers need. Think of the grandma house that hasn't been updated since the 80s. The bones are solid. It just looks like time forgot it. That's where investors can win. Think about a fixer-upper. If you're handy, or if you've got a reliable contractor, you can force equity by improving the property. Take something tired and breathe new life into it. Suddenly, you can justify higher rents or a higher resale value. But let's be clear, this is not HGTV. Renovations take time, money, and patience. Half-finished projects and blown budgets are how a deal turns into a nightmare. If you're going the fixer-upper route, go in with eyes wide open. Highly motivated sellers. Life happens. Divorce, job relocation, inherited properties. Highly motivated sellers sometimes want out. That's where you can come in and save the day. Negotiate terms or pricing that finally makes sense and make the math work in your favor. I'll give you an example of when I bought a rental in the past. I met an investor that wanted to sell multiple properties, but he didn't want to pay all of the capital gains taxes in 1 year. So we structured the sale where he would sell me both properties at market value with a seller-held mortgage. Moreover, that mortgage had an extremely low interest rate. This allowed the investor to receive a payment stream rather than a lump sum, which spreads his capital gains taxes over the years. One property had a balloon payment due in 3 years from the sale date, meaning I had to either sell or refinance in that time to pay him off. He then had to pay the capital gains on that amount. The other property had a balloon due in 5 years. When the 3-year balloon was due, rates were favorable to where I could refinance the mortgage and keep it in a positive cash flow. However, now the 5-year balloon is about due, and I'm finding rents will not support future payments if I refinance, losing my positive cash flow. In fact, I would barely break even, making any and all vacancy, repairs, and changes in insurance deal killers. Fortunately, I have enough equity in that rental to sell it and make money. The lesson here is what I tell all my investor clients: have multiple exit strategies. So, should you do it? Here's the bottom line. Most people shouldn't buy a Florida rental property right now. The numbers don't add up. You'll lose money, you'll stress yourself out, and you'll regret it. But if you're strategic, disciplined, and willing to hunt for one of those rare opportunities, then maybe, just maybe, you can make it work. So before you call me saying, "Tom, I want to buy a rental," remember this video. Don't do it unless the deal checks every box. But if you're determined and you want help spotting the rare ones that actually make sense, here's what you should do. Download my Sunshine State Handbook. It's a free guide that lays out everything you need to know about investing and living in Florida. The QR code on the screen, grab your copy. And if you're serious about finding one of those needle in the haystack deals, call me. I pick up my phone. We'll talk through your situation and see if it makes sense for you. This is the Florida Real Estate Insider. I'm Tom McNamara. I'll see you in the next one.